We're going to talk about forgiveness today. And I was on the phone with my brother earlier, and we were talking about how certain things have unfolded, and we got to the part of the conversation where forgiveness came up. I was talking to him about, or I made a statement to him about why I feel like people struggle in the area of forgiveness. The thing is, forgiveness is not a one moment thing. It's a moment that pulls you into a completely different experience. You have to understand that as you process your emotions, you are then brought to that point of forgiveness. Then you have to choose whether you want to forgive or not. But I said to him that I feel like a lot of people struggle with forgiving because it can feel like you're causing an inner conflict of betrayal towards yourself. 9 times out of 10, when you have to forgive somebody for something, they've done something that you would never do to anybody else. And forgiving them is almost like pardoning them from doing something that you hate. And then once you get into that space, it's almost like you're saying what they did was okay, but it's not that. It's not that, but that's what it feels like. And I think that's the reason why people struggle to forgive. It's almost like you're saying what they did was okay. It's almost like you're saying to yourself, they did it, and if I forgive them, they're gonna feel like they can do it again, and all of that comes from not forgiving yourself from letting the person in your presence, because what the whole circumstance blowing up shows you is that you need to better evaluate who you let in your space, and the first person you need to forgive is yourself. But it's easier to look outside and blame somebody else, the other half of the problem, for what their role was in the situation instead of forgiving the entire thing. Then some people run into that hiccup where they get stuck and don't ever forgive the opposite person because they don't even realize, they're not even aware that the full circumference of forgiving starts with forgiving yourself. Some people out here really look for people to deceive. Like, they wake up in the morning, it's their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They absolutely love it. And their job is to do it so well that you would never detect them. So then when you say to yourself, I can't believe that I let myself be around this person, you realize you deceived yourself and you trusted in something that was false, and it was right in front of your face the whole time. So then you're developing trust issues. And all of it is inner conflict in here. And so then when you see when a fallout happens, it's such a shock, because you held value in that relationship in one way, but the other person who knew what they came to do accomplished what they wanted to accomplish and walked away feeling absolutely nothing. Their investment was just to be a succubus. And they knew that you were willing to give, and so they took. So they completed their task. But you sit there, based on what they've shown you, your expectations are now over here, and they're not over there. They're not looking for balance in that. They were looking to take, and that's exactly what they did. So when you come in the space of a Decepticon and those little antennas go off, please trust them. It's the whole point of having the antennas in the first place. If every problematic thing walked around with a sign or a bubble hovering over it to say, this is exactly the type of trouble that I carry, and you walk towards it, then you can't blame nobody but yourself. But that's the reason why you get hunches, you get gut feelings, your energy will feel slightly off, because your body is telling you what's in your energy space. And your skin is your biggest organ. And when it feels or absorbs something in your energy space, you got to trust it. The other thing is this: after you've chosen to forgive, you now have to, it does something to your mind. So now you have to learn to live a different way in here. And you'll start to see it develop on the outside. You'll start to see it materialize in how you go about your day and now how you take on certain relationships, because you realize what you accepted before. So forgiveness is a process for you, even after you've forgiven yourself and the other person involved, and whatever showed you that you need to be a little more sharp with your decisions about who you let in your space. Now, it's not like you forgive and everything's gonna go back to normal. No, it wasn't normal since the day that whatever happened. However, you now have to be in this space of like dissecting yourself and unfolding whatever the things are in you that made you say yes to whatever the who and the what was that you had to forgive. Okay? And sometimes these problems are not always things that we do to ourselves. It may be circumstantial things, accidents, whatever, things like that. But what I'm saying to you is the world is suffering emotionally. And these are probably the key reasons why. Forgiveness is one of them. And it can play a part of looking like you're siding with the person that did you wrong when it's not that. It's a full-on process. The other thing is it hurts to have to break away from people who were willing to participate in the thing that you despise. So then you got to let all of that go. And that in itself is a process. That in itself is a huge process. So I hope this helps somebody today.